this treatment is weird. They're not Louis Vuitton, they're not Gucci. I had to click through 4 different things to get to where I kind of wanted to go. I think Zara's website still needs a lot of work. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those who are new, my name is Linda and I'm a product designer from Toronto. So for today's video, it's gonna be a pretty exciting one, and it's because I'll be ripping apart Zara's website that everyone hates. I'm totally kidding, but in nicer words, I'm gonna be critiquing and reacting to the website in a UX UI design point of view. I'll be dissecting the website in 3 different parts. The first thing is the overall appearance. Does it look nice and cohesive? The second thing would be UX design. So does this make sense and is it a good user experience? And the last thing is content and transparency. So can I make an informed decision from what is given to me? All right, let's get into it. So the way I'm gonna go through this is the most natural flow as possible, kind of how I would go through the website to shop for something, and then I'll start critiquing and, reacting to stuff like that. So the very first thing I land on is Zara's homepage, and I see a big image with sale and a lot of white space. So the very first thing I want to start critiquing is the overall appearance. And essentially, my first reaction to the homepage is that it's minimal, it's clean, but in terms of visual hierarchy, it's not there. For example, the Zara logo is huge. That's not really necessary. It's not really like a call out that they should be calling out to. It's literally just the logo and it's taking up so much real estate. So that definitely can be shrunk a bit. Obviously it's done intentionally, but I don't think it should have been done intentionally. In terms of this image, I guess that's fine, but there's a lot of white space on the side here beside the image. Other thing that I don't really like is the visual hierarchy around the text and the font weights and sizes. For example, the carousel, when you go through that, the text of man and woman is very, very small. These are kind of like action items that they would want users to go through, so I'm not too sure why they have it so small on the page. So those font sizes can be blown up a bit more. Having sale this large is fine because they're obviously promoting that. Another thing in terms of UI is the search bar. It's kind of like randomly placed on the right side, floating kind of in mid-air. It looks very like lo-fi as well, and it's not really that prominent on the page. So again, like in terms of, I'll get into this later on for user experience since I'm just covering UI, but I would like to see this a bit more prominent on the page since, that's something that users are going to be using anyways. So that's the first page. I'm going to go through the hamburger menu here and go through the actual different categories. So even in this section here, the way they have women, man, and kids listed at the very top as like a nav bar within the hamburger menu is a little bit weird, just because underneath it, they have a bunch of different categories for like coats, down jackets, blazers, etc. It looks a bit too clumped together, and I think that's where kind of the spacing issue happens. There's not enough space, especially because the font text itself, they're using capital letters. That also kind of gives the illusion of taking up more space, which is why adding more padding between each of these categories would help this section breathe a bit more. So okay, let's move on to, let's say, blazers. I want to look at blazers. So the very first thing is, again, one image, and then there's like this white space beside this image, and I'm not too sure why they do this so much. It's just such a waste of space in my opinion. Obviously as a user, like I want to see more than one item at once, and I don't want to have to scroll that much either. But I do notice at the very top is you can, okay, yeah, it's a bit slow, but you can change the different viewpoints. The default, I'm assuming that it shows is 1 at a time, but you can actually go up to, I think, 10. So honestly, I don't know why the default is to show 1 or 2 items on the page. It's just a lot of waste of space that they could be using more efficiently and better. But I think once you get to showing like 4 items on a page like this is just a lot better in terms of use of space. they're using the columns more properly and like the grid system in itself. It's a lot more appealing to look at when the images are in front of me, and it's easier to look at as well. So I think if this was the default, I'd be very happy with that. The other thing is these images are so big, but then the name of each item is just so small. If it's that small, at least use thicker text or like a heavier font weight so it stands out more. You know what I mean? Let's click onto one of these. This faux leather double-breasted blazer. Again, they're going for this minimal, clean look, which they are doing. In terms of visual hierarchy, it's not the best. Again, just like so much white space that could be used a lot better. I don't know why this info, materials and care list or information description is down here. Maybe if they just like centered it with the image, that would make it look a bit better and more like balanced. These images are fine. I think combining all the images into one little container makes sense to me, but although it'd be nice to see it all at once too. On the right side, I don't really have the biggest problem with this, but I do think they could just improve in their font and their font weights and sizes. It's kind of all over the place, to be honest. But as I scroll down, it's nice to see you can match with stuff. And I know I'm getting into the UX part as well while I'm talking about UI, but you guys all know that they kind of work in together. So I'll like go more in depth when I go through the user experience of the website. I think the biggest problem for me is this materials and care description. This treatment is weird where you view more and then it turns into like a scrollable container. Not the biggest fan. But now let's add to the bag. Sorry, I need to select the size, extra small. Wish I was an extra small, but we'll pretend that I am. Brings you to the cart. I'm gonna actually add a couple more to see what my basket looks like if there is multiple things. So I added 3 different things. Oh, weird. Okay. Now, obviously, the more you add, the more fills the screen. But now I'm looking at it in a sense where all of the text is literally one weight. Like the name is the same weight as the reference code, and the color and the size, and price is like in the middle of here. It's just such a weird layout. Right now I have to go left to right, and then there's white space, and then text, and then white space, and then a delete button. It's just a weird thing going on here. So just seeing it under the image might have been a lot better to, you know, visually look at and just scan overall. And look, again, like the total, I barely even noticed the total there. Like, I don't know why they have such small fonts and then such big fonts randomly when it shouldn't be there. But anyways, that should be a lot bigger. But let's say I continue and, you know, make a purchase. So that's the farthest I'm gonna go around critiquing the UI of the website. All right, now we're gonna talk about user experience. So we're gonna go through if this website even makes sense. Does it flow nicely? And, you know, in my point of view, is it even a good user experience for me to shop around? So let's get into it. I'm sure this will be interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go from the start again. The homepage, website. I think it's weird how there's a hamburger menu here. I don't know why like the main categories would not be listed at the top for like easy access, because now I have to kind of look around where that menu would be, and then okay, I click on that and then like click through different categories. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of seeing these options, or at least women, man, and kids like at the very top, and then at least I have easy access to go to those different pages. It's not that great that it's hidden on the page. I know they're going for this like minimal, like luxury type of feel, but you don't have to hide things to achieve that tone and feel. And down here, there's like a new and sale section. Why is this not the top? Our eyes, you know, our human behavior, we look from left to right and down. And if they want someone to be clicking through and like looking through their products, these two CTAs, like these buttons, should be at the top, because that's how humans go through stuff and read through stuff. I bet you that the conversion of the click rate would be higher. So there's the homepage. Okay, I'm gonna go through blazers in women category. I'm bringing this up again, and I brought this up during the UI viewpoint, is kind of like why do I only see one? Like, I have all this space and I only see one product. And the thing is, these product images aren't that great either. Like for this blazer, why can I only see the side of it? Scrolling down, okay, fine, there's 2 pictures, but it's 2 pictures of the same blazer. Why are you taking up so much space for the same thing? This, and this is literally the same product, but they're taking up like more than 2 scrolls. It doesn't really make sense why they repeat these images with like different poses. Like, no one really cares about that, especially for Zara. Like, they're not Louis Vuitton, they're not Gucci. Like, these prices are like affordable and more, again, fast fashion. So no one's on here to like appreciate what they're trying to do in terms of luxury. You get what I mean? If not, that's okay too. It's just such a waste of space, and I have to do so much scrolling to find items. But, you know, up here we have the option to see more at once, but I think this is not obvious. This is another thing that is a problem. It's just literally a line with a little circle, which apparently, you know, indicates that you can like scroll through this. I only know this so well is because I'm a designer. But for a normal person, they're probably like, what the hell is this? Like, what does this do? There's no supporting text. There's nothing that says what this element does for them, right? It's only if you play around and click on it that you would know, which a user shouldn't have to do, especially when they're shopping. I'm gonna see 4 products at once now. This looks a lot better to me. I can see through things a lot easier, more at once, which is what I want as a user. But again, stupid how there's like the same blazer, I think 2 times with different poses. Like, okay, thank you. Next, like, what else is next? Same blazer, 3 different images, different colors. Okay, cool. Like, it's not giving me what I want. I want to see more products, different products, in less time. Right now, I feel like it's taking me so long to scan through these and like whether or not it's the same item or not, since they're different colors, different people posing in different ways. I'm gonna go into the product page now. Let's say for this blazer. To be honest, this scrollable image, I think it's fine. I think it's a good use of space. Experience-wise, it's okay. The scroll is pretty slow. I have to scroll like 3-4 times to scroll once, but at least I can click through this. So I think in that sense, because it's so slow, I'd rather just see all the images at once. That way I see everything in like one area, rather than having to wait for it to load a few seconds. And even the materials and care, I know I mentioned this during the UI part, but let's say I want to see more, but then I have to keep scrolling within this little container. And maybe this is a bug or something, but when I scroll down, the Zara logo covers it. And I will say, when there's so much text like this, reading it in this small of a container, like this column, is not the greatest experience as well. There's just a lot going on, and I'd rather just be able to see all this information at once, whether it's like underneath the actual pictures, and have like everything there, rather than me clicking view more and then scrolling to view more in the view more. You know what I mean? On here, I think that's fine. Like sizes, it's okay. I get what that means. Size guide, I think that's good. But I will say what's good about Zara's website is that they do a good job at like cross-selling and making you want to buy more or see more things. Like, continue to spend time on the website. So over here you can match it with like this shirt, these trousers, and these sandals, and it's kind of like a cute outfit. So in that sense, that's pretty good user experience, which I've probably used. So I'll give them that, and then I'm gonna add this to my bag. Go to basket. So right now I have 4 items, just because I kept the ones that I was doing through the UI critique. But I think going back to the point I said about like, you know, this text layout, it's a bit weird. It also plays in with the experience of like having to read it like that so weirdly. It's just like my eyes don't naturally go that way. And then also is like, it says there's 4 in my bag, but there's no indication where the 4th one is unless I start like scrolling, right? And then I see, I'm like, oh, okay, there's the last one at the very end. But again, like I have to play with it. And with shopping, like e-commerce, it should be all there for you. It should be a very easy thing to go through and almost like quick. All these e-commerce sites, they're all pretty standard in terms of the experience and like how it should be. So if Zara just followed that, the standard behavior of these websites, I think they'd be fine. But they just have to add useless stuff like this and make it more like cool, which I don't understand why they do. So this, yeah, not that great. They can just like literally list it out and I can scroll this way because again, naturally, that's what I'm used to. I'm gonna continue, and then brings you to the purchase as guest. And last but not least, I'm gonna be covering the content and transparency. I'm gonna go through the website one more time and see if I can actually make an informed decision from the information that's given to me. This also kind of goes hand in hand with UX and UI, but specifically talking about the content. So images, text, yeah, those two. So, all right, let's do it. Homepage. Where do I go? I want to look for, clothes. I don't really see anything but new and sale. Okay, like I'll go check out new. Sure, but I don't really want to look at new. I can't even click into it. So I guess sale. Can I click on this? Okay, well, I wasn't really looking for sale. I wanted to find more of like blazers, but at least it's in here now. Okay, let's talk about this. I had to click through 4 different things to get to where I kind of wanted to go. And I think that's a really big problem. Obviously, the content on this page, it didn't help me make an informed decision. Like, it wasn't easy to do that. It's not very clear, and it's not enough either to make that decision to go where I need to go. So I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go into blazers, and in here, let's see if I can make an informed decision and I have all the content I need. So great, I see all the images, I see blazers, I see multiple blazers. I kind of like this green one, I guess, but I'm pretty content on looking at this blazer. So I'm gonna look at this. All right, so materials and care, I can see all the information on the product here, and I wanna see view more for more information. Okay, there's a sufficient amount of information on this product and the materials that they use, the care. So I think in that sense, it's enough information to make an informed decision and help me figure out whether or not I want to put this into my cart. So I think this part is good. Content is there, it makes sense, and it makes me want to continue with my purchase. Again, there's more on the right side of what it is. I think explains it very well. It's a faux leather double-breasted blazer. I know exactly what that means. The colors are there, sizes, and the price. Great. I think in that sense, I can make a decision that I want to add this to my bag. And you know what? Overall, in terms of content, I think it's there. They do have enough information, minus the homepage. Homepage is absolute trash. I don't really know what to do on that page. But once you get to the product page and like product information page, the details page, I think from there it's fine. I mean, it's good enough. So even in checkout, I have all the clothes that I added, so that's good. And I have the total, even though it's super small, wish that was bigger. But other than that, makes me want to continue and I want to check out. So now that we talked about all the 3 different areas, UI, UX, and content and transparency, let's kind of go through the key takeaways. So the first one was the UI. Visual hierarchy needs a lot of work, and this plays into, there was too much white space, and essentially the font size and weight need to be improved everywhere in the site. In terms of the UX, there were just too many things hidden everywhere where it should have been hidden. There's not enough supporting text for functional elements on the page. For example, the viewpoints on those different product pages. And the last thing around UX would have been that a lot of repetitive images that was just not needed and did not help the experience. The last part was content and transparency. In this section, there just wasn't enough content on the homepage. It didn't help me make an informed decision from the start, which is not a good first impression. But we'll say that there was good transparency and content on the products page around like materials and care. So overall, I think Zara's website still needs a lot of work. To be honest, I thought, they would be, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but just a lot more progressed since the last time I saw it. And I thought maybe from all the complaints on like TikTok and just like social media in general, like everyone talks so much shit about their website that they would change it. Or maybe it's kind of like a marketing tactic and PR move type thing where they just will keep it shitty so more people will talk about it and create that, I don't know, brand around them. But either way, Zara's website needs more work in all three of those different sections I mentioned, and hopefully we can see that improvement in the near future, because right now, you know, it's 2022 now. You gotta get your shit together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me critiquing it, reacting to it, because this was super fun. If you're interested in seeing more of these, please let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!